Hey guys, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Please hit that like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It helps big time, and I really do appreciate it. And if you get anything from my work, a connect the dot, an epiphany, a mind-blown moment, a new book to read, a new author to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links will be at in the description at the bottom of the video. Hi, Hermit's Journey. Thus Spoke Zarathustra. This is going to be a good one. But as we continue to journey between two books, the last one I feel was super profound by Manly P. Hall. Knowing what you are in essence. And then once you find out, how do you go into the world and speak your truth without sounding egotistical, without making anybody jealous or envious of what they did not yet discover about their own selves. I'm at this threshold of that time myself. I'm in this period of transcending a lot of things and a lot of concepts and a lot of things that this is what I've been asking myself with everything that has come across my paradigm in the political and in the movements that I follow. Is it worth me and my energy to throw myself into all these opinions, perspectives? Does it affect my reality? If it does, and it will, then I'll give it some thought and give it some of my inner asking. But if it does not, I have to start transcending and moving on, because it's a waste of energy. So a lot of us are in that stage right now, spiritually at least, where you kind of understand what you are. And many of people are finding they're more than just star seeds. And it's very hard to get validated beyond that. But if you start going into meditation and asking for what you were at the first point of your differentiated from source, meaning you individualized from source, and ask what you were, you might get a good answer. I know my own self, I was validated multiple different ways, multiple times, that I'm from the Archangel Collective. It's not coming from an egotistical place. That's a very rough and hard job, being incarnated in a dense form, not being able to shed my light and having a harder existence than most of my age bracket. And realizing it and knowing that I have plenty of missions and a lot of rocky, I want to say I don't want to hit rock bottom ever again. I've been there twice. And I'm now just recovering from this, and it just keeps continuing to be a very rocky road for me. So with the truths that we know, we emerge from the cave and we're going about society, trying to talk to people, trying to seed them, little seeds. You're sprinkling, like, hello, your paradigm might be fine, but guess what? There are a lot of things wrong in this world. Are you aware of them? It's rough because a lot of people think you're the crazy person when you're really not. You're the sane one. They don't realize that they've been MK Ultra, that they've been programmed, indoctrinated, and put to sleep. And yes, some of them chose that path, and we have to respect it. But there are a lot of those on the fence. There's a lot of those people that know something's wrong, they just can't put their finger to it. And even if you want to truth throw up bomb on them, you're not going to get too many places with that. So this journey keeps on continuing, because as much as a lot of people do not like Friedrich Nietzsche, within this book, there's a lot of gems and seeds that we can grow from. And especially with Manly P. Hall doing the inner work, doing the inner understanding of what you are, finding the face of Jesus, Yeshua, it's all within you. It's inside. The concept of consciousness. It's what Yeshua was teaching. It's what's within our DNA, within our encoding. And Manly P. Hall is only trying to help get it out of you. And Nietzsche is trying to help you speak these truths into society, which people still are having a hard time. So I hope you guys are keeping up with these episodes, because trust me, I'm having trouble now with where I am at spiritually, and I see a lot of things when I'm doing We Not Me, and I'm in the chats, and I'm seeing things, and people are hanging on to concepts, and like they will not budge or move from these things. And it's not to say that things will or not happen. It's like, why are you focusing your energy solely on those things? Why are you having an obsession over certain things? Where that's every other comment is, I saw somebody in the chat the other day, and it's not to degrade them in any way or knock them down a peg. It has nothing to do with that. They're talking about Rh negative blood over and over and over, and like trying to like see the point where if you in the truther community especially think about two people that you chose brought you into this existence, does it matter what their blood types are? If they're where or not? It doesn't, that has nothing to do with what's in your DNA coding. That when the God spark happened and conception took place, Source itself encoded things in your DNA. Yes, genetically, your parents gave you two: eye color, skin color, hair color, height, weight, all those prerequisites to being human. But a lot of people don't understand what that God spark does. It encodes you. So it doesn't necessarily matter if you're Rh positive or Rh negative. You can look at it and people are talking, oh, well, you could get abducted. Well, I'm sorry, I don't have negative, and I bet you I was upstairs plenty of times, don't remember being abducted, but they come and visit me all the time. They don't fly down on their ships, they materialize in front of me. I've had a Draco pictured, I've showed it on multiple videos. There's no lying about these things because I have photographic evidence. So how did that Draco get through? Because of my blood type? Well, just be real and rational. So people are always going on these concepts and holding on to your life without looking outside of their paradigm to finding other answers that are surrounding them. So this is why I am doing the Hermit's journey, because a lot of us are by ourselves are reading and researching and doing us. And it's just another way to open up other people's paradigms. I'm just finding it hard right now for myself to insert what I know to be true and what has already transpired. I'm not really hardly off. And if I am, I will call it out. Many of you should do too. It's not wrong to, there's nothing bad about being wrong. Nothing. It's just opening up minds, moving perceptions. This next part is on love of the neighbor. This will be very interesting because, you know, everybody's stuck again on the concept of the EBS going off, the military martial law thing, and oh my God, no one will be able to feed each other. Okay, rationale, let's think rationally here and logically. Okay, if they shut the banks down, if the world just teeters to a halt, great. Are you prepared to feed over 1,500 to 2,000 people in your community because you're one of the only few people that get it and have put away food? And how are you going to feed yourself? Just logic. Just think logically. If there is the fireworks whole weekend, just think logically about those things. Let's see how we can discuss things with our neighbor. You crowd around your neighbor and have fine words for it. But I say unto you, your love of the neighbor is your bad love of yourselves. You flee to your neighbor from yourselves and would like to make a virtue out of that. But I see through your selfishness. The you is older than the I. The you has been pronounced holy, but not yet the I. So man crowds toward his neighbor. Do I recommend love of thy neighbor to you? Sooner I should even recommend flight from the neighbor and love of the farthest. Higher than love of the neighbor is love of the farthest and the future. Higher yet than the love of human beings, I esteem the love of things and ghosts. This ghost that runs after you, my brother, is more beautiful than you. Why do you not give him your flesh and your bones? But you are afraid and run to your neighbor. Sorry, guys, there was really big booms. You cannot endure yourselves and do not love yourselves enough. Now you want to seduce your neighbor to love and then gild yourselves with his error. With that, you could not endure all sorts of neighbors and their neighbors. Then you would have to create your friend and his overflowing heart out of yourselves. You invite a witness when you want to speak well of yourselves. And when you have seduced him to think well of you, then you think well of yourselves. Not only are they liars who speak when they know better, but even more those who speak when they know nothing. And thus you speak of yourselves to others and deceive the neighbor with yourselves. Thus speaks the fool. Association with other people corrupts one's character, especially if one has none. One man goes to his neighbor because he seeks himself, another because he would lose himself. Your bad love of yourselves turns your solitude into a prison. It is those further away who must pay for your love of your neighbor. And even if 5 of you are together, there is always a 6th who must die. I do not love your festivals either. I found too many actors there, and the spectators too often behave like actors. I teach you not the neighbor, but the friend. The friend should be the festival of the earth. To you, and anticipation of the overman. I teach you the friend and his overflowing heart. But one must learn to be a sponge if one wants to be loved by hearts that overflow. I will teach you the friend in whom the world stands complete. A bowl of goodness, the creating friend who always has a completed world to give away. And as the world rolled apart from him, it rolls together again in circles for him, as the becoming of the good through evil, as the becoming a purpose out of accident. Let the future and the furthest be for you the cause of your today. In your friend you shall love the overman as your cause. My brothers, love of the neighbor, but I do not recommend to you. I recommend to you love of the farthest. Thus spoke Zarathustra. There's a lot there. What a lot of people don't do is go within and do their self-healing. They look outside to others for the healing instead of going in within themselves to do the healing. Be the friend, not just an acquaintance, not just a passerby. Be the friend. On the way of the Creator. This should be interesting. Is it your wish, my brother, to go into solitude? Is it your wish to seek the way to yourself? Then linger a moment and listen to me. He who seeks easily gets lost. All loneliness is guilt. Thus speaks the herd. And you have long belonged to the herd. The voice of the herd will still be audible in you. And when you will say, I no longer have a common conscience with you, it will be as lament and an agony. Behold, this agony itself was born of the common conscience, and the last glimmer of that conscience still glows on your affliction. But do you want to go the way of your affliction, which is the way to yourself? Then show me your right and your strength to do so. Are you a new strength and a new right, a first movement, a self-propelled wheel? Can you compel the very stars to revolve around you? Alas, there is so much lusting for the heights. There are so many convulsions of this ambition. Show me that you are not one of the lustful and ambitious. Alas, there are so many great thoughts which do no more than a bellows. They puff up and make emptier. You call yourself free? Your dominant thought, I want to hear, and not that you have escaped from a yoke. Are you one of those who had the right to escape from a yoke? There are some who threw away their last value when they threw away their servitude. Free from what? As if that mattered to Zarathustra. But your eyes should tell me brightly, free or what? Can you give yourself your own evil and your own good and hang your own will over yourself as a law? Can you be your own judge and avenger of your law? Terrible is it to be alone with the judge and avenger of one's own law. Thus is a star thrown out into the void and into the icy breath of solitude. Today you are still suffering from the many, being one. Today your courage and your hopes are still whole, but the time will come when solitude will make you weary, when your pride will double up and your courage gnash its teeth, and you will cry, I am alone. The time will come when that which seems high to you will no longer be in sight, and that which seems low will be all too near. Even what seems slime to you will frighten you like a ghost, and you will cry, all is false. There are feelings which want to kill the lonely, and if they do not succeed well, then they themselves must die. But are you capable of this, to be a murderer? My brother, do you know the word contempt yet? And the agony of your justice being just to those who despise you? You force many to relearn about you. They charge it bitterly against you. You came close to them and yet passed by, that they will never forgive. You pass over and beyond them, but the higher you ascend, the smaller you appear to the eye of envy. But almost all they hate those who fly. How would you be just to me? You must say, I choose your injustice over my proper lot. Injustice and filth they throw after the lonely one. But my brother, if you would be a star, you must not shine less for them because of that. And beware of the good and the just. They like to crucify those who invent their own virtue for themselves. They hate the lonely one. Beware also of holy simplicity. Everything that is not simple is considered unholy. It is also like to play with fire, the strike. And beware also of the attacks of your love. The lonely one offers his hand too quickly to whomever he encounters. To some people, you may not give your hand, only a paw. And I desire that your paw should also have claws. But the worst enemy you can encounter will always be yourself. You lie in wait for yourself in caves and woods. Lonely one, you are going the way to yourself, and your way leads past yourself and your 7 devils. You will be a heretic to yourself, and a witch, and a soothsayer, and a fool, and a doubter, and an unholy one, and a villain. You must wish to consume yourself in your own flame. How could you wish to become new unless you have first become ashes? Lonely one, you are going the way of the Creator. You would create a God for yourself out of your 7 devils. Lonely one, you are going the way of the lover. Yourself you love, and therefore you despise yourself, as only lovers despise. The lover would create because he despises. What does he know of love? Who did not have to despise precisely what he loved? Go into your loneliness with your love and with your creation, my brother, and only much later will justice limp after you. With my tears, go into your loneliness, my brother. I love him who wants to create over and beyond himself and thus perishes. Thus spoke Zarathustra. That's an interesting one. That last part was vital. On the Adler's bite. One day Zarathustra had fallen asleep under a fig tree, for it was hot, and had put his arms over his face. And an adder, came and bit him in the neck, so that Zarathustra cried out in pain. When he had taken his arm from his face, he looked at the snake, and it recognized the eyes of Zarathustra, withered awkwardly, and wanted to get away. Oh no, said Zarathustra, as yet you have not accepted my thanks. You waked me in time, my way is still long. Your way is short. The adder said sadly, my poison kills. Zarathustra smiled. When has a dragon ever died of the poison of a snake? He said. But take back your poison. You are not rich enough to give it to me. Then the adder fell around his neck a second time and licked his wound. When Zarathustra once related this to his disciples, they asked, "And what, O Zarathustra, is the moral of your story?" Then Zarathustra answered thus: "The annihilator of morals, the good and just call me, my story is immoral. But if you have an enemy, do not requite him evil with good, for that would put him to shame. Rather prove that he did you some good. And rather be angry than put to shame. And if you are cursed and do not like it, that you want to bless, rather join a little in the cursing. And if you have been done a great wrong, then quickly add 5 little ones. A gruesome sight is a person single-mindedly obsessed by a wrong. Did you already know this? A wrong shared is half right. And he who is able to bear it should take the wrong upon himself. A little revenge is more human than no revenge. And if punishment is not also a right and an honor for the transgressor, then I do not like your punishments either. It is nobler to declare oneself wrong than to insist on being right, especially when one is right. Only one must be rich enough for that. I do not like your cold justice, and out of the eyes of your judges, there always looks the executioner in his cold steel. Tell me, where is the justice which is love with open eyes? Would that you might invent for me the love that bears not only a punishment, but also a guilt? Would that you might invent for me the justice that acquits everyone except him that judges? Do you still want to hear this too? In him who would be just through and through, even lies become kindness to others. But how could I think of being just through and through? How can I give each his own? Let this be sufficient for me. I give each my own. Finally, my brothers, beware of doing wrong to any hermit. How could a hermit forget? How could he repay? Like a deep well is a hermit. It is easy to throw a stone, but if the stone sank to the bottom, tell me, who would get it out again? Beware of insulting the hermit. But if you have done so well, then kill him too. Spoke Zarathustra. So true. The last one of tonight. Unfree death. Many died too late. A few died too early. The doctrine still sounds strange. Die at the right time. Die at the right time, thus teaches Zarathustra. Of course, how could those who never lived at the right time die at the right time? With that they had never been born. Thus I counsel the superfluous. But even the superfluous still make a fuss about their dying, and even the hollowest nut still wants to be cracked. Everybody considers dying important, but as yet death is no festival. As yet man have not learned how one hallows the most beautiful festivals. I show you the death that consummates a spur and a promise to the survivors. He that consummates his life dies his death victoriously, surrounded by those who hope and promise. Thus should one learn to die, and there should be no festival where one dying thus does not hallow the oaths of the living. To die thus is best. Second to this, however, is to die fighting and squander a great soul. But equally hateful to the fighter and the victor is your grinning death, which creeps up like a thief and yet becomes as the master. My death I praise to you, the free death, which comes to me because I want it. And when shall I want it? He who has a goal and an heir will want death at the right time for his goal and heir. And from reverence, his goal and heir, He will hang no more dry wreaths in the sanctuary of life. Verily, I do not want to be like the rope makers. They drag out their threads and always walk backwards. Some become too old even for their truths and victories. A toothless mouth no longer has the right to every truth. And everybody who wants fame must take leave of honor betimes and practice the difficult art of leaving at the right time. One must cease letting oneself be eaten when one tastes best. That is known to those who want to be loved long. There are sour apples, to be sure, whose lot requires that they will till the last day of autumn, and they become ripe, yellow, and wrinkled all at once. In some, the heart grows old fast, and others the spirit. And some are old in their youth, but late youth preserves long youth. For some, like death, sorry guys, hang on. For some, life turns out badly. A poisonous worm eats its way to their heart. Let them see to it that their dying turns out that much better. Some never become sweet. They rot already in the summer. It's a cowardice that keeps them on their branch. All too many live, and all too long they hang on their branches. Would that a storm could shake all this worm-eaten rot from the tree. Would that they came preachers of quick death. I would like them as the true storms and shakers of the trees of life. But I hear only death preach and patience with everything earthly. Alas, do you preach patience with your earthly? It is the earthly that has too much patience with you. Blasphemers! Verily, that Hebrew died too early, whom the preachers of slow death honor. And for many it has become a calamity that he died too early. As yet he knew only tears and the melancholy of the Hebrew, and hatred of the good and the just. The Hebrew, Jesus. Then the longing for death overcame him, but that he remained in the wilderness and far from the good and the just. Perhaps he would have learned to live and to love the earth and laughter too. Don't take offense to Nietzsche, please. Believe me, my brothers, he died too early. He himself would have recanted his teaching had he reached my age. Noble enough was he to recant, but he was not yet mature. Immature is the love of the youth, and immature has hatred of man and earth. His mind and the wings of his spirit are still tied down and heavy. But in the man there is more of the child than in the youth, and less melancholy. He knows better how to die and to live, free to die and free in death, able to say a holy no when the time for yes has passed. Thus he knows how to die and live. That your dying be no blasphemy against man and earth, my friends, that I ask of the honey of your soul. In your dying, your spirit and virtue shall still glow like a sunset around the earth. Else your dying has turned out badly. Thus I want to die myself, that you, my friends, may love the earth more for the sake, and to earth I want to return, that I might find rest in her who gave birth to me. Verily, Zarathustra had a goal. He knew his ball. Now you, my friends, are the heirs of my goal. To you I throw my golden ball. More than anything, I like to see you, my friends, throwing the golden ball. And so I shall linger a little on the earth. Forgive me for that. Thus spoke Zarathustra. Heavy, 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 heavy reading. But if we look at what was said in all of those in a nutshell, it's really be honorable for yourself, love yourself, heal yourself. You are in control of yourself. And the other things that are around you, the earth, the people, whatever have you, the adder. What is it that we need to do, and how do we respond to the outside stimulus? The people, the places, the things that don't appreciate people like us, people who take to their own top, do their own thing, and they're cast out from society because you're not going along with their shit. Doesn't mean their shit is right either. Brutal words, but very necessary. Very, very necessary. It's walking the last between Manly P. Hall and this book, the last couple of back and forths. We're coming into the self-acknowledgement phase of where we should be right now in the spiritual crazy house that we call Gaia, Earth, this reality of their density. We really need to focus on our own healing, our own nonsense that we have traversed, the drama, the trauma, all of it. And we need to see who is our friend in this world and who is just somebody that's a neighbor. Who is that person that's going to be at your side? Are you the one that's going to provide for a community? Can you? We got to take all these things into perspective when we're walking our journey into this reality. We have to see what is worth our energy, what is worth our time, what is worth dying for. And no, our physical bodies die, but not our souls. We move up. We ascend, regardless of being in this vehicle or in another vehicle. Should not fear it. Do not fear death. Nothing to fear. Though everybody doesn't want to die alone, not everybody has a choice in that act. You wrote your script. You wrote it in for yourself. So the manner in which you go is what you asked for and signed up for. Sucks because we can't know. Free will. It would impede it. Look inside yourself. Do a lot of the work that needs to get done in other episodes. Spiritual soul advice, I talk about how that looks. Analyzing, questioning yourself. Most of you know your own answers. You just don't want to admit to it. You don't want to see that ugly truth that is staring at you in the mirror. It hurts, and you don't want to take the steps because it's painful. But if you approach those healings in another type of way, asking yourself, okay, why does this hurt? What is its purpose? What's the meaning to this? Look objectively at the things that have hurt you, the people that have hurt you, the places that traumatize you. Why? Go deeper and keep going deeper and deeper and deeper until you get your answers. Ask yourself, write it in a journal. It's the only way you're going to heal yourself and become out stronger. So none of these marauders, these sleepy people are going to bother you. And even the people with the biggest narcissistic ego out there talking and spewing their shit, it's not going to affect you because it's going to bounce right off of you. You're above that because you have self-love and you're not going to allow other people's projections to bother you. There's plenty of people who have very harshly tried to hurt me and downplay everything that I do and what I'm for. Bye-bye. I gave you a chance. You tried to hurt me, didn't really hurt me. It's upsetting that people go the way that they do. And in time they'll come back because they knew they were wrong. They knew what they said. They knew what they were trying to do didn't work. You have to think of those things. So guys, walking out of the cave in your hermitum, finding and seeking the God within you, seeking yourself, healing yourself, in essence, as harsh as a lot of these words are, not giving in to the enemy. He talks about revenge and being fun, of course he would. Those are the things that we can expect in our everyday lives to kind of play out in different ways and modalities, but they're still being played out. Different people, different places, different times. It's just, how are you the chess player? Are you playing 5D chess? How many boards are you playing on? How many pawns did you collect? How many moves have you outmoved another person? Life is not a competition. But when it comes to getting your information out and helping other people see the light of day, these are the challenges that we face. Especially those living in places where a lot more people are sleeping, and I was there. I lived it. It's very, very difficult not to be seen as the crazy person. I feel sorry and I'm sad for all those people that I had to leave, who were in a slumber that forever eternally are going to be sleeping. But self-preservation, understanding that I have to do me and I have to be able to go do me in my best way as possible. So I hope all of you do the same. Right now it's self-reflection time. It's healing time. It's finding what you are in essence. A lot of my books are screaming these things. It's spirit syncing books, trying to help everybody with the learning and the teaching of what needs to happen next. In order for us to move forward as a humanity, as a collective of people, we need to get this work done. And a lot of people are ignoring it at this point. I don't know about you at home. I just keep getting next level nonsense and lessons and thinking. More things just keep going at me, and I have my own struggles and things that I have to heal. And once you think a layer is healed, another layer starts opening up and you didn't even know it existed. Shadow work never ends, but it gets easier each time, and it's easier each time to change your mindset and alchemize the hurt, transmute it. So I hope his wise words weren't too harsh for you today. Those sections I chose, they chose it for me. So sending each and every one of you love and light. Protection, light, love, and shielding to all of you. Please have a very safe weekend. To all the Canadians out there, happy Independence Day. For America, in a few days, it will be Independence Day. No matter if you see it the 3rd or the 4th, depends what document you read. Things might get a little bananas outside. I got lots of boom booms happening. lots of big booms. I did some yard work today, and I had bought sparklers because you're not allowed to have sparklers in New York. So I was really happy to have a sparkler. Little things like that make me super happy. And little pops, even though they're really loud. So please have a fun weekend. Enjoy. Sadly, a lot of us know this is not, we're celebrating something that's not real. We've never been free. We're free in our thought, in our head, in our doing, in our lives. We think we're free. We have free will to move and get a drink and read a book. But in the bigger scheme of things, we're not necessarily free, and we're celebrating an independence of what? We've never been independent, especially in America. You're getting your independence from what? You thought you broke off from the monarchy? Nope. Lies. Either way, people fought and died for this holiday to happen and take place. So let's honor our ancestors and honor the people who fought and died valiantly for this country and for other countries. Hi, Canada. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Please be safe, be seen. Depending on the noise level of the big booms, I'll see when I get to do my next video, because I got told, being that I'm new here, I haven't been here for this holiday yet, it gets crazier towards the 4th. So more big boomies and more crazy noises all night. So we'll see what happens and when I can conducively do videos without a million booms and my house shaking and all that distraction. But anyway, guys, see you on the next one. Bye.